So, anyhow, this week, as we get settled in, I'm going to talk about music.
Yep.
Going to talk about Bucaroos.
Bucaroos. Together again.
Together again.
Yep.
With one of the best guitar players that pioneered early country music. Or I guess mid-century.
Bakersfield sound.
Bakersfield sound.
Yeah.
Don Rich. Buck Owens' right-hand man.
I think he was a fiddle player first, and then...
I think he played about everything.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of crazy that, Buck Owens is a really great guitar player in his own right.
Yeah, he's self-taught.
Mm-hmm. And, oftentimes just having one really great guitar player is enough, but not for the Bucaroos.
I think so. So, Buck Owens.
Together again.
1929 to 2006. Born Alvis Edgar Owens Jr.
Can't believe we've been gone 20 years already.
I know.
So, what was your first introduction to Buck Owens?
It probably was when I was really young and he was on the Hee Haw show, but I didn't really. It was just the Hee Haw show was entertaining to me as a child. It wasn't that it was him. So I would say my actual introduction to him was probably last week when we were listening to a new podcast that I will say that I'm a little obsessed with, which one of the people that we met on our tour
recommended to us. We were in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and it was Teresa that turned us on to a podcast,
Cocaine and Rhinestones.
A podcast hosted by David Allan Coe's son.
Yes.
Tyler.
Right? And I...
Is it Tyler or Taylor?
Tyler. Yeah.
Okay.
And he has a great love
of country music.
Pre-2000.
Yeah, he cuts it off.
You could tell he truly loves the genre.
And he's really trying to tell an accurate history.
Yes, and he doesn't mince words, and he has his own opinions, but they really don't. I don't feel like he factors them in. Even he cites his sources, and he tells why he thinks some sources are more reputable than others. I just really, really am enjoying his perspective.
And in fact, the two-part podcast on
Buck Owens and
Don Rich is the reason why we chose the shout-out.
That was actually my first introduction to this song.
Really?
Together Again. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it before.
I think
it had a familiar feeling to me.
Yeah, it did. It did, but I don't know that that's because I was familiar with the song or because I was familiar with the style or the voice. I feel like both Buck Owens and Don Rich had such unique voices and they blend so well together. I feel like that's something I've heard before. Maybe not necessarily this song, but I feel like I'm familiar with their musical partnership, I'll say. Yeah.
So I have a confession. So I too, as a child, heard Buck Owens.
Yeah.
Hee Haw.
Hee Haw.
And my dad liked Buck Owens quite a bit. And
Yes.
I used to think, country and western was kind of for squares because rock and roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, my opinions changed through the years, of course, because as opinions do,
they
grow.
And tastes change.
And tastes grow and change.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking that they sounded like hayseeds to me.
Silly man. Yeah. So I learned something too over the course of the podcast, and specifically with Buck Owens and a couple of other people that he touched on the history of. But I always thought when people said country and western music, I thought it was kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, both styles, country and western music, like there's a difference. I really did not delineate. So there is a specific sound it's like a subgenre of country music. I would say would be
country
like
music
all of it.
And Western swing.
It's Western swing has a different sound than classical country music does, and people would differentiate between the two in the common vernacular. But when I was growing up, it was just called country and Western music, and I was like, why do they say that? Like it's all the same thing, but it's not. Well, is not the same thing.
Very quickly, so the Bakersfield sound pioneered by, actually there was another guy, I believe it was Ty Allen, but then Buck Owens and Don Rich, most notably, probably they had the most hits in the gross thing, can be traced back, to a Western swing sound. But then that also came from Texas with the fiddle, that came from Louisiana with the Cajun fiddle.
Yes.
And so the influence of jazz and swing music there.
I think a lot of these things, like the sound, there was Nashville sound and the Louisiana sound and the Texas sound and the Bakersfield sound. And I think a lot of these were actually brought to the forefront when television became more prominent in households, because hee-haw became a thing, and that was more the Nashville sound. And Buck Owens' show was in Bakersfield, and that was the Bakersfield sound. And they had Hayride, Louisiana Hayride. That was the Louisiana, and I can't remember. I can't remember the Texas. I feel like they had
another one. There was a bunch of them.
They had another one.
There was a bunch of them, but
it
then
was dedicated like a.
Also, so like part of that influence came to Bakersfield through Buck Owens, and it was at the
well, he's from Texas,
but close enough to Oklahoma that he would still be considered an Okie when they were pushed west.
Yes.
So was it the Dust Bowl that pushed them west?
No, it wasn't.
Not them specifically, but I was talking about more like the mass migration of like the Okies to the West Coast.
Yeah, it was. So we've had some more people join the chat.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for joining us.
Ricky, our moderator extraordinaire, yes, and Jimmy Wells, always happy to see you, friend.
Yep, Texas Swing, that's right. Bob Willis and the Playboys, which influenced the Bakersfield sound, certainly.
Wolfgang mentioned earlier, he said, catch Tiger by the tail and act naturally. Act naturally, I actually had heard, but so many people have covered it. Even the Beatles covered it, did a cover of it. So
they heard the Buck Owens version and wanted to cover it.
So this particular song, Together Again, has the unique distinction that it was the B-side of, what was the song? My Heart Skips a Beat.
My Heart Skips a Beat, which was a number one song.
It was a number one song. However, the distinction is Together Again actually eclipsed it for number one and then sunk back down. They battled it out for
the number one.
I think it was like 10 weeks or something like that. So it has a unique distinction there for both the A side and the B side were battling it out for the top.
Yeah, and it was funny because they interviewed Buck Owens about it, and he said, not to be greedy. He's like, but we're in the record business, and he's like, he found it interesting because he knew that My Heart Skips a Beat was released as a single, and he was hearing it on the radio. But then he started hearing this song a lot on the radio, Together Again, and he was like, he's like, we're in the business of selling singles, and when the B-side does well, that means it's a missed opportunity. Not to be greedy, but it also tells you how good he was, because he had a run of, I think, in the mid '60s. There, he had a run of number ones and charting singles.
He did
just
so good. He did so good.
It was like years between like singles that didn't chart.
He figured it out, and Buck Owens did a lot. He figured out the business of music, and I get a lot of that from the podcast that we listen to. He did a lot of really smart dealings as far as like owning his publishing and owning other people's publishing and making like the Buck Owens deal. And I guess a lot of people felt like they'd been done dirty. Really, it was more him knowing the business better than they knew it. And if like when we were listening to the podcast, they did say there were a couple of people, they were like, hey, and he was like, okay, and he like did not stick to the contract. So he wasn't a bad dude. He was a business dude, though.
He's a businessman, and sometimes if you're really good at business, it makes people mad when they're not, and they fail.
It does, and it can feel like being a bit like being steamrolled a little bit, like if you don't know what you're doing. And he had an eye for talent. He had an ear for songs, and he was just good at the business. He was smart with his money.
So one thing, even though he was so good and had so many hits, Nashville kind of shunned him.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, no
They
thanks. We're
snubbed
doing
their
this.
nose
We're
in.
doing this
Yeah.
pop country thing.
Yep.
And in fact, he'd never even really won a CMA.
No.
Like
he did get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He did
didn't
much
he?
later
Yeah, I
on,
thought
but then
so.
but it was very late, and
In the
really,
80s something.
he did win a CMA with Dwight Yoakam later on.
Right,
But it was
right.
like in that string of hits, he was only nominated once, and he was passed over,
So get
which
this.
is kind of crazy.
Okay, so there's always a link to the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I know, right? So Tom Brumley, who inspired many pedal steel guitar
Yes.
players, many pedal steel
Well,
players.
this song in particular.
This song in particular is noted
because-
to have one of the best pedal steel breaks
in country music
ever recorded.
Ever.
Ever
and
recorded.
they said that they actually watched spikes in steel guitars and lap steels. They sold them by the hundreds
Because of the song.
because of this song. Like Christmas gifts and people wanting to learn.
Yeah, because of Tom Brumley's solo.
Yeah, and it inspired Jerry Garcia, to learn the
wanna
pedal steel.
He's one of the hundreds that.
Yes. This song in particular, he noted as inspiring him to want to learn
Yep.
the
Yep.
pedal steel. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool link. And also my Grateful Dead shirt
Yeah.
tonight. I
Yeah.
might have just smacked my microphone, but
Oh, whoops.
Oh my goodness! So did you read the chat from Jimmy Wells about
I
his
did.
hard drive?
Yeah, the failing hard drive.
Heartbreaking.
It
I
really
wonder if
is.
somebody could revive it for you. I know there's people that specialize in technology.
So
I'm
one
not
interesting
of them.
thing, or a thing that I particularly like about the song, the one that drove me to want to cover this song in particular, is that it's a love song that is very sad.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a song about
It's a joyful relief song.
it's a song about getting back together.
The end of a breakup.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
getting back together.
reuniting.
But you can hear
It's
this.
mournful.
You can hear the mournful and the sadness dripping in the pedal steel playing and in the vocals themselves. The vocals, and it's almost as if there's like a lament of getting back together again.
Well,
Because do you think it's because he thinks he's gonna lose her again, or do you
I
think it's because it's
okay,
not that good?
There's a reason that people call it an on again, off again relationship.
True
It
enough.
is a cycle of on and off and on and off, again and again and again. So I think it might be sort of a little bit of a, like, this is a relief while we're in it, but I feel like maybe the light at the end of the tunnel might be a train coming my way. So maybe. I don't know. That's
I like
We
that
can
it's
guess.
a song that's not like it's a love song that's not very hopeful. Because I mean,
A little bit,
I
yeah.
mean, like, you know what? It's real life, right? It's realistic. That's like realistic for a lot of people. It's something that a lot of people could probably relate to.
yeah.
So,
Okay, let's see
Yeah.
here. What y'all got going on here?
so I did have a hard drive one time that failed me, and I was able to. There's some software that you can actually get sometimes that will allow you to mount hard drives and if that don't work, there's places you can take them and they'll recover
Yeah,
them.
they can recover them, and I don't know. I know that the ability is out there because I do listen to a lot of podcasts, including true crime podcasts, and they have the ability to do forensic technological work, and they can recover things that have been deleted, like complete overhauls on hard drives and computers, stuff that's even been in the water. They're able to
Wow.
get a lot of stuff back. Now, not everything and not always uncorrupted, but there are people that specialize in it, that if that's something that you really value and you really want and you're willing to put a little money into them doing their labor, they can revive it for you.
For sure.
So
I
yeah,
do want
it
to
might be
bounce.
worth it.
I want to bounce back though to Nashville. Like, I mean, how far do you have to have your finger off the pulse to just ignore Buck Owens
How do you do that?
for 15 or 20 years before they really, I mean, it's just insane.
Even like when he came to do the Hee Haw show, he was here. He was here.
Well, that was about the time I think that they finally started to.
I guess.
I guess they felt like he kind of acquiesced to their demands a little bit.
So of course, I don't know how much you want to talk about Buck in this history, but like.
Oh, I do. I do have a little tidbit that I found really intriguing.
What's that?
So, like I said, his family. He was born in Texas, in Sherman, Texas, and his family had a farm there.
West Texas, right?
And on the farm, they had a donkey named Buck. And when he was 3 or 4 years old, he came tromping in the house and announced that Buck was his name too. And that's where he got his moniker of Buck.
I did not know that.
The whole family was like, okay.
I like that.
So there was a donkey named Buck, and he was like, me too.
It's funny. Yeah.
And I think the backing band named the Bucaroos, how much better could you get? I mean, really, it's perfect.
Oh man, it's great. There's just
Bucaroos,
so much that's like original outlaw and original gangster about Buck Owens that I can't like. Even this mule story is great. I mean, the donkey story, it's great. I mean,
so
everything about all the stories are great.
Talking about outlaws, he credits Merle Haggard with introducing him to the music of like Willie Nelson and all the outlaws. Yeah,
Merle Haggard was in fact a member of the Bucaroos for a very short time. Did you know that?
And Merle Haggard married Buck Owens' ex-wife also.
Yes.
So there was a whole lot of like entangling, intertwining happening there. So yeah. Let me see here. What all other things?
Well, we lost Don Rich early, motorcycle accident.
1974.
Another one of the greats that was gone too early.
Yeah. So his story I found really intriguing. He was adopted by a lovely family that really was quite sheltering of him, and he was a fantastic fiddle player. And somebody told Buck, hey, you need to hear this kid. And he was like, okay, whatever. He went to go listen. He was like, yeah, I like this kid. He's good. I feel like he fits in, but he was only 16, which also kind of harkens to, it brings again to mind Bob Weir, the Grateful Dead, and when he first joined up with Jerry Garcia and all this, he was really young, and there was somebody willing to take him under their wing and kind of show him.
He played with Buck for a little while.
He played with Buck. His mom. It was funny though because his mom wouldn't let him drive places, even though he was 16.
So they have to come pick him up.
He was like, So Buck would drive 30 miles out of the way to go get him, and then go to wherever he was going, and then drop him back off when they were done. And she didn't want him to do a lot of overnight gigs to begin with, and wanted him to really concentrate on school. And she had it was his mom in particular. His dad was present and very involved, but it was his mom that they cited as really being like, you need to do these things for your life. And
they had a connection right from the start. They're playing.
Really
they had a really big connection.
And when Don, and actually Buck named Don, it was Don Ulrich was the name that he was adopted.
Ulrich.
Ulrich. Ulrich. And he was like, you're Don Rich. And it stuck. It was there from jump. But his mom said, you have got to go to college. You've got to go to college. And when Buck went to Bakersfield, he was like,
went back to Bakersfield.
He was like, you need to come on down with me. And Don was like, I'm in college. I have to go to college. Like, Mom said.
And was it like 6 or 9 months later?
He was like, this is not for me.
He's like, college is not for me. Can I still be in your band? And he drove down and joined the Bucaroos.
He moved to Bakersfield. So, but his mom was she was very supportive. And I don't want to taint that at all. She was extremely supportive. And she also wanted to make sure he had all his ducks in a row and that he was safe and okay.
Yeah. And by Buck Owens' own account, that when Don passed in the tragic accident, Buck really kind of lost all motivation for playing. He didn't really even want to continue on.
It was in the 90s when he finally said the quote, and I don't have it written, so I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I still had a career, but all the thunder and lightning was gone from my music. Mm-hmm. So he said he lost a son, a brother, and his best friend when he lost Don. And I mean, the music that they made together, and you can see them. We actually went and looked because of the podcast. We watched some of the very first episode of the Buck Owens and the Buckaroo show.
Well, the Buck Owens Ranch.
Buck Owens Ranch, yeah. We watched the very first episode of it, and it's all live. They recorded it live because they didn't know
They didn't
how
even
to
know how
pre-tape.
they didn't know how to
didn't
make
know what they
TV
were
shows, so they just recorded it all
just
live,
did it.
which is incredible because what ended up happening is much like the Grateful Dead. We have a great catalog of their playing.
Yes.
You have a band at the height of their talent.
They were playing like 200 shows.
Yeah, at the height of their talent. You have a band at the height of their talent playing live for the whole world to see, and you can see exactly how tight they are and how good they are because there's
so good.
no studio magic. It's just
No,
live.
just
right off the
them.
cuff. You
And
know that it was they had such a little grasp on
How to
do it. They even played the intro.
I was getting ready
They
to
played
say
the
it.
intro
They
music
played
and the
intro
exit music themselves
And get this.
every week.
So that song, the instrumental, is called the Bucaroos.
The Bucaroos. Yeah.
And that song was the only instrumental at the time. I don't know if it's still true, but it was the only instrumental that went to #1 on the country charts.
Really? Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's pretty cool, right?
And yeah, he was.
I'm like proud for them.
So, you know, and as shrewd as they say that Buck was, he did allow like the instrumentals on his albums, and the instrumentals were given writers' credits to the performers, not to himself. You know, well, I mean, I'm sure he might have shared some of that with them.
Probably publishing.
But
yeah.
like he allowed them to have songwriting credit on that, you know, and these were albums that were selling by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, at some points, you know.
So there's one other piece of information that I found really interesting.
What's that?
So when he first moved, I think it was back to Bakersfield while Don wasn't there, I think it was. He was doing a lot of session work. He was recording a lot. And so he recorded under the pseudonym of Corky Jones.
I thought that was before the Bucaroos.
He recorded,
Yeah.
he recorded rock and roll under Corky Jones.
He didn't want it to dilute his country.
He didn't want it to affect
his country persona
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
working on.
his whole career.
I'd
so-
heard that as well.
Yeah, I found that really interesting.
Thought that was really interesting. Well,
Yep.
you know, I've gone a long way in my opinions of Buck Owens. You know, and
He was a notorious
to be fair,
ladies' man also. He was married like 4 times and 3 divorces and 1 annulment.
well, one thing that I think that like moved my needle was that, you know, I saw him being goofy on Hee Haw and like, you know, and all that. And, you know, the Hee Haw was good for what it was. It shined the light on country music, you know, where otherwise it might not have been shown. But you kind of get this, like, if you're somebody that's not from like that part of the country and you see that it's a caricature.
A caricature of,
you know,
of country
and
living.
then like hearing Buck Owens speak about it, like he liked it for a short time, but then he wanted off there. But the money was so good.
Too good. Yeah.
And he actually he blamed Hee Haw for his lack of record sales in the later 70s. He's like, you know, how can I sell records with all this exposure? It's like the number.
They can just come see
It was
me
such
for
a great.
free at
It was
home.
such a
Yeah.
big, popular TV show. The people were seeing him in their homes every single
Yeah.
week. You know, and he
Yeah.
just thought that his product got way too watered down.
Yeah.
And he thought that because of Hee Haw, you know, that he was discredited in that way a little bit. And I don't think he ever really reconciled his feelings
I'm
towards
a little
that.
confused on the timeline there. Well, hold on. Let me loop back around.
Well, he started Hee
hold
Haw
on.
and-
Let me loop back around here. So when I was saying he was a ladies' man, I wasn't talking
Mm-hmm.
about his marriages, failed or good or whatever. I'm talking about part of the reason why the marriages failed was he was with a lady a lot and not the same one, and not always his wife.
Okay.
So that's it. I just wanted to close that loop. So you're saying Hee Haw was when?
I mean, he was on the Hee Haw from the very beginning of Hee Haw until
I don't know the dates here.
it was the early 70s until the
so-
mid 90s, I believe,
So
almost
I'm
20
wondering
years.
though, because I know that Buck Owens and the Bucaroos played at Carnegie Hall, which was not common for a country artist to do.
No, he played at Carnegie Hall.
Also, they went on tour to Japan and recorded a live album of Buck Owens and the Bucaroos in Japan.
Yeah, so Buck
So,
Owens.
like, was that because of the exposure of the Hee Haw show, or was the
No, that was
Buck Owens
before.
show? It was the
No.
Buck Owens show that kind of opened those doors for him.
No, it was just that he was so popular on the radio.
Okay, but I feel like TV had a hand in that, is what I'm saying.
Well, the timeline, Hee Haw did not play into that, no, because it was
But the Buck
before
Owens
that.
show might have.
I mean, that was only a regional show, so probably also
Oh,
no.
okay, maybe
like a
not.
lot of those
All
shows that you're talking about, like Louisiana Hayride
All right.
and those types of things,
Right
they
on.
were
Okay.
they weren't really nationally syndicated it, or they were things that were more local. So the live at the Carnegie Hall though is interesting, and maybe we should just touch on that a second before we move on from Buck Owens. Is that he had some of the same opinions that I'm talking about in reverse. He thought that maybe I shouldn't go to New York. I don't think I'll sell any tickets.
Yeah. I know that when
when he booked the show, he had a stipulation.
A contingency, if I don't sell any
He's like,
tickets,
a stipulation, I'm allowed to cancel, if the ticket sales are slow, we're allowed to back out.
Yeah.
But it turns out that he sold out, like, with only a couple, like, there was like 2 or 3 weeks
still to
go,
yeah. And
so
it was sold out.
It was a sellout. I believe he was the first country artist to play.
They said that
there
were people
sure,
dressed
Carnegie.
up like they were going to the opera, like in their furs and all the to-dos, and here was Buck Owens going, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they put on a pretty risque show for the times. I would really like to. I haven't heard the full album. I've heard some songs off of it, but I've heard that the stage banner is kind of risque for the time.
For the time, we'll have to see if we can find a recording.
One thing we did also find out is that, of course, we see him in their rhinestone-studded kind of suits.
Yes.
Not nudie suits.
Not nudie suits. No.
Not nudie con. So, some people make that mistake though.
Because it's shiny.
So
I made the mistake. I thought it was to begin with.
Guys, you're hanging out in the chat tonight with us. Let us know. Oh, I didn't know Wolfgang Rick was born on Don Rich's birthday.
Hey, nice.
So, let us know what your favorite Buck Owens song is, if you have one. Have you heard Buck Owens before? If you're not a fan of Buck Owens, then you probably need to be. Yeah, I can definitely see.
And Don Rich, I like it. I like them together.
So I came to it kind of backwards. I can definitely see how Buck Owens would have influenced a band like the Flying Burrito Brothers.
Absolutely.
So
and we like the Flying
and we've been
Burrito
really
Brothers.
big Flying Burrito Brothers fans for years. You know, so I can definitely see the influence of probably Buck Owens in the stylings of their music. And obviously I don't know the timeline there either, but I'm sure that the pedal steel must have influenced Sleepy Pete. So anyways, what else you got for us today? Anything?
That's all I have for all my little tidbits. I
Really love the bit about the donkey.
The donkey.
And the Grateful Dead connection. Like, I always like a good
Grateful
connector.
Dead connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just reading over my lines, my little notes here I have.
Do you remember, what do you remember about Hee Haw?
The donkey. The cartoon donkey in the beginning.
Yeah.
And Minnie Pearl.
I know the Buck said, I hate that damn donkey.
The cartoon donkey. He said that cartoon donkey signs my paychecks. Yeah.
Signs my paychecks.
Yeah. No, I remember Minnie Pearl. The tag hanging off her hat.
It's funny, like, I mean, it has such an influence on culture that people will say, like, if you have the mistake of forgetting to take your tag off your clothes or anything you bought, they'll be like, what are you trying to do? Minnie Pearl it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. So.
And she always reminded me of, I know she was younger than her, but the granny on the Looney Tunes. When she'd put on her hat and go out. Tweety's person.
We'll have to go look it up.
Oh, the granny. She was just Granny.
Granny.
Right? Granny on.
Yeah, Tom's person as well, I guess. Tweety and Tom's Tom, not Tom. This is Tom and Jerry.
What
Sylvester.
is happening?
Sylvester's
Are you okay?
person.
Do you smell burnt toast?
I don't, but
I think it's time to be done chatting.
Are you having a stroke?
I think it's time to be done chatting. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, as always.
Guys, yeah, it's been fun.
No, we did not.
What's that?
This shout-out's for my Aunt Vita. She's always asking for more country tunes in our repertoire. And so this is for her.
Yeah.
For Aunt Vita.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe.
share this with somebody you think might be interested in learning about Buck Owens. Or
remember the days when we used to sit and talk about
song.
music together, and we used to show our friends like the new album we got, and we'd sit and listen to it together in our bedrooms or living rooms or cars, and we'd share the new music with each other. So
we're just sharing the old music.
We're trying to bring that stuff back. So
you guys have a great evening. We'll see you on Sunday with another Sugar Lime Blue Sunday shout out. Y'all be safe out there.
Have a good week, guys.